Good morning. I've been asked to talk about the future of Indigenous textiles. Even the word Indigenous for me is derogatory, and so I just like to talk about textiles that have been made by hand. And I've been asked, will the future be handmade? In my humble opinion, there's no way that it can be handmade. We live in a society where the people who've created things in the past are incapable of continuing to do so. The textiles that I've collected over the years, and I've picked out some of my favorites from the online store, are from, 40 or 50 years ago, perhaps even longer ago. This is a piece of fabric that is woven on a backstrap loom, and then it's top stitched. In fact, it's not top stitched, sorry. It's woven into the garment like the kaftans I sell. These items, this kind of technique is impossible to duplicate. You can do it on a machine and you can call it handmade. And I think that's really where the future is. If I stand here for hours and hours and show you things that are actually handmade, things that have been created on a backstrap loom. By the way, that little thing there is a backstrap loom. I cannot imagine that the future will be handmade. It's the reason why I created this business for myself 24 years ago, because I wanted to show you, I wanted to show everybody how things are handmade, how things have been created with love. I'm going to come closer to the camera so you can see every single stitch of this. This is a traditional garment. You could call it Indigenous textiles, but basically what I'm looking at is, or you're looking at right now, is something that has taken probably 3 or 4 months to create. Originally it was on a calico piece of fabric, and it's double-sided. That's handmade. And I know I'm showing you extreme examples, but I'm telling you that this here has been ikat dyed, which means that they twist the cotton after they've spun it. Whoops. Spin the cotton, twist the cotton, place dye on parts of the cotton to create these patterns, these figures. This is handmade. This is then woven into a garment on a backstrap loom. This is a massive skirt that's worn in Guatemala in the area of Totonicapan. These textiles I've been collecting because I want to show people how things were handmade. And I would consider these to be Indigenous textiles or heritage textiles, but you're not going to be able to buy them in the future. Nor will you have a garment made up in that, because it's in, the cost of the meterage, the cost of creating it, the cost of finding somebody who could actually do that technique today in 2021 is just about impossible. Of course, I dressed for this little interview. So here, this gardenia, it's like a chain stitch that's been created on the garment. This here, the way that they shade and create their flowers, that's handmade. If you imagine how much the item that you're wearing is worth, call it a shirt. Imagine how much the buttons cost, imagine the cost of the labor, imagine the cost of producing it, and the actual base cost of a piece of fabric. For me, it's always working on a basis of $25 a meter, because I want a bit of natural fiber, and I don't even know if you can buy it these days, because I'm going to continue to show you handmade products, Indigenous products, and things that I can find that have been created with love before they're gone. I continue to find people who are able to do this, but these are not young people. These are the daughters of the women who've taught them. The women can no longer embroider. The daughters are juggling families with phones and things that take their mind off the actual textiles that they could be creating, that you and I have to pay $500-600 a piece for. So that's why I'm not sure that the future is going to be handmade, because my idea about this is that the general public will not pay for something that they're going to wear every day of the week, something that is completely created, embroidered. I've even seen, and I see this mostly in Mexico, where the mass producers in India create a garment that is only printed or embroidered on one side, and even if that's just machine embroidered, it's just one side and the other side is plain blank. And they're doing that because the public won't pay for it, because the big retailers are squeezing them down and down and down, so that the general market, all they ever really ask for, I just want to show you this, go on a backstrap bloom, they ask for cheap products. So until the consumer understands that there's masses of greenwashing and people who are talking about how they're sustainable, once, it might take another decade for everyone to find out that that's just a load of fluff and rubble that we're being told. And by then I expect that the indigenous people who have been creating products like these forever and ever and ever have gone to God so long ago that it's impossible for there ever to be someone to teach people, someone to create something that is valuable enough for you to understand the true cost of fashion, or the true cost of that thing. I don't think I showed you this one last piece. And apologies for going on and on and on forever, but those who know me, I'm Zara Old from Las Viñas Textiles, and this has been my life for the last 23 years. I've been in the rag trade since I was 17, and my mother was making my own clothes before I came out of the womb. So quality and beauty in fashion has been my life, and I really, really thank you for asking me this question.